right, ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to get into a little bit harder equations. And again, last year we took quite a bit of time going through these, but we reviewed it over the summer for those of you that did the summer work. So we're going to not spend nearly as much time. Notice we have several more steps today, but that's all right. Our first step is to clear the parentheses. And I'm going to put it in parentheses that that's our distributive property. We have to distribute. Okay. Then we're going to combine any like terms. And again, these have to be on the same side of the equal sign. Third step is that we have to collect the variables on one side. And we're not going to really have any problems like that today, but we're just listing it in here because it is one of the steps. Then we cancel our coefficient. I'm sorry, not our coefficient, the constant. Then we cancel the coefficient. And then we check. And we talked about yesterday how we can do that check on our calculators to make it a little bit easier for us. All right, so let's go down and see. We tried to put some lines in to help make this a little bit easier. So I notice I have parentheses, so the first thing I have to do is I have to take and multiply what's on the outside by everything on the inside. Always remembering our integer rules, always taking the sign of what's in front. So I'm actually doing -4 times -6, which is a positive 24x. -4 times -3 is going to give me positive 12. I don't have any like terms, right? We used to draw a line through the equal sign. If that still helps you, then please go right ahead and do that. Now I have to cancel. I don't have variables on both sides. I said we were going to kind of skip that step today. Now I'm going to cancel the constant, so I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. That gives me a 0 equals, bring down your 24x. We're going to multiply by our reciprocal. But our multiplication property of 0 tells me that anytime I multiply by 0, I still get 0. And I probably should have left more room to do a check. I wrote it. But we'll check it on our calculators. We'll again remind ourselves how to do that. So here's a problem where we have some fractions. Not a big deal. We're going to keep everything as a fraction until the end. So I need to distribute. So I'm going to have 2/5 equals 1/3 times 2 is 2/3. 1/3, oops, forgot the m, sorry. 1/3 times 12, -12 is going to be -4. We're going to add 4 to both sides. So 4 plus 2/5 is 4 and 2/5 equals 2/3 m. Now we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 3/2. And when you actually put this in your calculators, it's going to end up being 6.6 equals m. You can turn that back into a fraction using our math frac button, which we'll talk more about. If you do that, it's going to be 6 and 3/5 equals m. Either way. All right, number 3. Now we're going to have some problems that actually involve some combining like terms. But I have to get rid of those parentheses first. So the only thing that I'm multiplying by is that -4. So I'm going to copy down the 7, the 2y. -4 times 2 is -8, so we write it as a minus. -4 times y is -4y. Oops. How about that should be a plus, not an equals, plus 3y. Now I'm going to go through and look for any of my like terms. So I have 2y, -4y, and 3y. So I'm going to copy down my 7. So 2 minus 4 is -2, plus 3 is 1, so that's just y. And then we keep the -8. If you chose to write it as 1y, that would be okay as well. We're going to add 8 to both sides. So 15 equals y. No coefficient to get rid of because it's a 1. Excellent. All right, number 4. We're going to go through and we have to distribute. So 6 times z is 6z minus 6 times 6 is 36. Now I have to distribute the 4. 4 times z is 4z. 4 times -2 is -8. We write that as a minus, equals -5. Now I have two different groups of like terms. I have my variables. 6z plus 4z is 10z. And I have my constants. So -36 and -8, when those signs are the same, you're really just adding them together. And that is going to give you -44 equals -5. Canceling our constant gives me 10z equals 39. Divide by 10 or multiply by the reciprocal, z is 3.9. So again, it is much more common now in algebra to get these weird looking kind of answers. 3.9, 6 3/5, 0. All right, it's going to happen and that's okay. You're not doing things wrong. And as long as you check your answer, you're going to know that you're not doing anything wrong. All right, let's just do one more together and then I'll let you guys try some on your own. So, get rid of my parentheses. So I'm distributing the 3y minus 18. Copy everything else down, plus 2y equals -3. Look for my like terms, 3y and 2y. Both positive, adding them together, 5y minus 18 equals -3. Cancel my constant, so add 18 to both sides. -3 and positive 18 gives me positive 15. Multiply by the reciprocal. So you guys are seeing me kind of show it both ways, the multiply by the reciprocal and the divide. It honestly really doesn't matter, and in terms of as long as you're showing me your work, you're going to get full credit for that. So those cancel, we're getting y equals 3. All right, so I want you on your own to try 6, 7, and 8, and then we will go over those answers together in class. So you're going to try this one, you're going to try this one, you're going to try this one for those of you that muted me and didn't hear what I said. Any questions? Bring them to class. Have a good night.